Hello fight fans, thanks for joining us at MMA Insider. Before we get rolling with today's news, show some love by hitting that like button and subscribing. Now let's uncover the latest happenings in MMA. Starting off, fight fans react to former UFC champion Cody Garbrandt's new face tattoo. Moving on, Jake Paul reveals why he called out UFC champion Alex Pereira. Next, Belal Muhammad responds after finally being called out by Colby Covington. Moving on, Conor McGregor responds to Mike Perry's bare-knuckle fighting championship ownership claim. Lastly, Khamzat Chimaev downplays rumor that visa issues have impacted his UFC career. Fight fans have given their thoughts on former UFC champion Cody Garbrandt's new face tattoo. As we know, Cody Garbrandt has had a roller coaster ride of a career. He was once known as a rising star, before quickly being thrust into a title opportunity against Dominic Cruz. In that fight, he became UFC bantamweight champion, stunning the masses with one of the best title performances in UFC history. Alas, since then, he's suffered a string of losses inside the octagon. While he's certainly had some successes too, the popular opinion is that he'll never get back to a point of prominence either at bantamweight or flyweight. Still, he's a popular guy, and he has a lot of diehard fans. With that being said, even the biggest Cody supporter may have raised an eyebrow when they saw his latest tattoo. Below, you'll see some of the best reactions to this move. Might be on the worst tattoo list. All I see is a clown in face pain. Bro stole my create a character's face tattoo. Genuinely one of the worst tats I've seen. Is it me or is it not straight Lowell? The top-bottom don't line up. The 33-year-old star is set to make his return in October when he goes head-to-head with Miles Johns. Hopefully, for his sake, he'll be able to get back in the win column and remind us all of why he was so beloved when he first burst on the scene. What do you make of this tattoo from Cody Garbrandt? Do you believe we will ever see him in a UFC championship fight again? Let us know your thoughts on this and his future. Jake Paul has explained why he decided to call out UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira after defeating Mike Perry. After Paul earned a 6th-round TKO finish over Perry in Tampa this past Saturday, he issued a challenge to Alex. Pereira is under UFC contract, making this matchup highly unlikely. Still, Paul is hoping Pereira can free himself from UFC CEO Dana White to make the fight happen. During the post-fight press conference, Jake Paul told reporters that all Alex Pereira has to do is get out of his UFC deal to make the fight a reality. Here's what he said: "I want everybody. I love this sport." He's tweeted about wanting to go into boxing. We got him on the FaceTime right there in the ring. I said, "Yo, can you get out of your contract?" If he can get out of his contract, then let's run it. When I asked him that, he had a pause. He looked at his manager. These guys aren't their own bosses. I want all the smoke. Paul's ultimate goal is to slay the beast in Pereira. Paul knows it would be a huge risk for the UFC to allow Pereira to fight him. Here is what he said: "At the end of the day, will Dana White let him out? That's too big of a risk if I can embarrass his #1 praised fighter right now. But I want all the smoke. I want all the MMA guys. I've beaten all of them. And who's next? He's the king right now of the UFC. I want him. I want to decapitate him and dethrone him." Given that UFC CEO Dana White hasn't been a big fan of Jake Paul or cross-promotion, this is one matchup that may not come to fruition anytime soon. UFC welterweight contender Belal Muhammad has responded to a recent challenge from Colby Covington. This weekend, Belal Muhammad faces the biggest fight of his career. He will challenge Leon Edwards for the UFC welterweight championship in what promises to be an electric collision between the two rivals. Of course, Edwards is seen as the favorite by many, but Muhammad appears to be feeling pretty confident in himself. As for Edwards, his last outing saw him successfully defend the strap against Colby Covington. Belal has made it known in the past that he'd be interested in taking on Colby, but the former interim champ never seemed to be too interested. After finally calling Muhammad out a few months back, he opted to respond. Here is what he said: "That was honestly the funniest thing. I'm not even going to bring attention to it because then I'm going to have a back and forth with him. This guy's a joke now. He understands he's a joke now. So he's trying to go out there and call out these bigger names now. He's calling out me, he's calling out Charles Oliveira. Ian Gary's not worth it. Why? Because Ian Gary's a bad matchup for you. He knows that if he loses one more fight, it's over. How terrible that last fight was. He's desperate for something. He's desperate for a win. I think he's gonna sit there and wait. Maybe he's gonna call out a featherweight or somebody and hope one of those guys bite on the bullet." Who would you back to win a fight between Belal Muhammad and Colby Covington? Share your thoughts in comments. Conor McGregor has caught wind of Mike Perry claiming to be a part owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and he has responded. McGregor had fight fans turning heads once again at the conclusion of the boxing match between Perry and Jake Paul. While Perry showed grit, he was simply outgunned thanks to Paul's jabs, power punching, and movement. Perry hung around but was ultimately stopped in the 6th round via TKO. After the fight, McGregor, who is a part owner of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, hopped on X to declare that Mike Perry is gone from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. McGregor hinted at Perry's own promotion being the reason for the supposed falling out. In a now-deleted post on X, Conor McGregor responded to Mike Perry's claim to have part ownership of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. He once again said that Perry is out of Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Michael, you are not any owner in Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Not an iota. You have the tiniest minute dot of a share in Thriller, the social media video application, which is promising in fairness, but it's a speckle you have. You hold nothing in Bare Knuckle, not an iota. And trust me, you are out, bro. Time will tell what Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship's David Feldman will have to say about this, as the buck stops with him under the Bare Knuckle boxing promotion. Given that Perry has been viewed as Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship's top star, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming days and weeks. UFC middleweight contender Khamzat Chimaev wants fans to know that he can fight in America. Khamzat has been out of the cage since a majority decision victory over Kamaru Usman last October. The bout was labeled as a title eliminator heading into the matchup, but Khamzat didn't receive a title shot afterward. Instead, the middleweight contender was booked opposite Robert Whittaker for a Saudi Arabia fight night last month. However, Khamzat Chimaev pulled out of the bout due to illness just a week before fight night. Not long after the bout cancellation, Dana White revealed that the Chechen would likely return to the cage in October in Abu Dhabi. Later, Khamzat confirmed that rumors of a fall return were completely accurate. If Khamzat Chimaev fights in Abu Dhabi, it would continue his streak of not fighting in America. Khamzat last competed in the USA in September 2022, scoring a submission win over Kevin Holland. Since then, there have been multiple reports about Chimaev's visa status. According to several, he is unable to enter the country due to his friendship with Chechen dictator Ramzan Kadyrov. However, Khamzat has to provide some pushback on that. Speaking in an interview with Aslanbek Badayev, Khamzat denied the rumor that he couldn't fight in the United States. He also confirmed that he was offered to fight Leon Edwards in the main event of UFC 300 in April, but the bout failed to come to fruition. Here is what he said. "Of course the UFC can help with any visa issue. They can. They did this last time. They got me the visa when they wanted it. Everyone says I was denied a visa. So far, we have not applied for a visa. I was told to wait and fight in Arab countries for now, and I'm waiting." As everyone remembers, recently at UFC 300, I was offered a fight to perform in Las Vegas. The main event of the evening, it was against Leon Edwards. Then they could get me a visa so I could fight there when needed. When needed, I'll get one. Business is working, one might say. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Your dedication and support fuel our passion to bring you the latest and greatest in the MMA world. If you enjoyed today's news, please give us a thumbs up and share it with fellow MMA fans. Remember to subscribe to stay in the loop with daily MMA updates. We've got a lot of exciting news, interviews, and analysis coming your way every single day. Your engagement helps us grow and serve the MMA community even better. Once again, thank you for being an integral part of our daily MMA journey.